Hi, Brian Shube at Brian Shube Consulting. Today I want to talk to you about exporting. Did you know that 97% of the world's consumers live outside the borders of the United States? And only 11% of US companies actually do exporting. So why is it that others don't do it? Well, I think primarily one of the reasons is it's very overwhelming. It's not that it's so difficult, but it's sort of overwhelming. There's a lot of things you have to be concerned about and you got to pay attention to. And there are certainly differences than, say, selling something between New Jersey and New York. So if you're going to start exporting, a good place to start is someplace reasonably close. Most people recommend that if you're going to start exporting to Canada. It's close. They speak English. Their time zones are similar to those in the U.S. It's very easy to understand their currency. So it's usually a good place to start. Now, how do you start? Well, the first thing you do is obviously do some market research. Who are the competitors? They may not be the same competitors as you have here in the U.S. In fact, given that only 11% of the companies in the U.S. are exporting, that means they're getting their products from somewhere else, and so therefore you have to do some market research. You have to understand what products are available and what their cost is, and who's buying them, how big the marketplace is. All the same kind of research you would do if you were going into a new market here in the USA. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to worry about things like, how do you understand the market? How do you understand the consumer? Now, understanding the consumer in Canada is probably not that big of a deal. There are some pretty significant differences. The biggest one that comes to mind is that in Canada, they require dual languages on all the labeling and everything. Everything has to be in English and French. Even though the French are primarily living in Quebec, nonetheless, anything sold in Canada has to have both English and French labels on it. Beyond that, you need to understand who these customers are. You need to understand what their needs are, and you got to figure out how you can provide those needs. You got to figure out how you're going to bring your product to market. You have to figure out the logistics of getting there. There are frequently, between countries, there are sometimes tariffs, obviously not with Canada because of NAFTA. However, you have to worry about restrictions as to some products are not exportable from the United States. Some products are not importable to Canada. They're restricted in some way. You need to know how people do business in the market that you're going to enter. Perhaps they have different kinds of rules and regulations on how to do business in a particular place. And the best bet, I think, is to get some boots on the ground. The best way to find, if you can find a business partner who can be there in the markets in Canada that you want to be in, that will provide you with someone who understands the marketplace, who can help get your products in the right places, talk to the right people. And the best way to go about doing that is to go onto the Department of Commerce website called export.gov, export.gov. And on export.gov, you can go and you can find out all kinds of information about things you can do to find partners on the ground in your target market. They will set up. They have this program they call the Gold Key program, in which they will set up meetings with potential business partners and help you to vet them and to figure out who's the best guy to be working with you in a particular marketplace. There's ways of, and it's a very low cost operation. They'll set up multiple meetings at the consulate and all you have to do is get up there to talk to those people. So there's lots of other things we could talk about. We need to talk about currency issues. We need to talk about product support, how you're going to support the product when you're distance away. You have to kind of look at everything in terms of, is your company really prepared to go forward with this? So if you'd like, you can reach out to my company. It's brianshube.com, and we'll be happy to help you walk through some of these things and perhaps get you started in exporting your products outside the U.S. Thanks for listening.